welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be telling you all about the books that I'm hoping to read soon. So rather than doing a monthly TBR, I kind of wanted to just show you guys a list of books that I'm hoping to get read in the next little while here, and I'm not really putting a time limit on myself because if you watched my previous video where I talked about the BookTube newbie tag and I talked about kind of my reason for starting this channel and everything like that, one of the reasons is that I am hoping that it will help me to read more. And basically, since having my son 7 months ago and gaining a little bit of success with my other YouTube channel, I have really let reading slide off onto the back burner, and I do not want that to be the case anymore. So I'm just hoping to start reading some more, and hopefully this will help me to do so. So with that being said, the book that I am currently reading is Before the Devil Breaks You by Liba Bray, which I do not have with me right now. It's in the room that my baby is sleeping in, and I do not want to go in there and take it out. But that's the one that I'm reading currently. So it is Liba Bray's Diviners series. It is the third book in the series, and I'm absolutely loving it. It's set in the 1920s. And it's about a group of diviners, a group of teenagers who all possess different powers. So for instance, there's one that can hold an object and can see its past. There's one that can walk in dreams. Like, they're all really cool different powers that these kids have, and they're kind of been drawn together to fight an evil that's coming upon the world. So in each book, they kind of defeat a different sort of evil, but it's leading up to be a greater, like, an all-encompassing evil that they're going to fight, I'm assuming, in the last book. That being said, the next book that I'm wanting to pick up is the last book in this series, which is The King of Crows. And this is, I guess, like the ultimate bad guy that they're going to have to be using their powers and kind of joining forces to come together. So the diviners are, I'm assuming, have defeated the last kind of evil in the last book. I'm not through it yet. And then they're going to be coming together to face this new challenge in this next book, which, to be completely honest with you, I have not read the synopsis for, and I do not want to read the synopsis. So I'm not going to be telling you guys what this one is fully about, because I don't want to ruin the book that I'm currently reading for myself. So just know that this is going to be the next book that I pick up after I am done with Before the Devil Breaks You. So the next book that I am wanting to read is Shadow of Fog Island, and this is a sequel to a really amazing book that I read, and I actually did a review on my last BookTube channel, which will be linked in my description box below. So if you want to go and check out that video, you can see the review that I did for The Cult on Fog Island, and I absolutely loved that book, and I was so excited that The Shadow of Fog Island is finally out. The author of this book is, I believe, in Germany, possibly, and the book came out over there a long time ago. I've actually been waiting for this book to hit Canadian shelves for the past 3 years. So I'm so excited. It finally just released, and I cannot wait to pick it up because it's going to be the sequel where basically in the first book, Sophia ends up kind of accidentally joining a cult. She kind of goes to this fog island, and she goes to this retreat where she's hoping to just kind of like gain some renewal for herself. She's coming out of a bad relationship, and it's like kind of this getaway. It's marketed as this retreat where you can kind of go to study under Franz Oswald, and he is teaching you all about spirituality and coming into yourself and just kind of becoming a whole new person. But once Sophia is there for a while, she kind of starts to realize that she has gotten herself into a cult, and by trying to leave it, she puts herself at great risk, as well as many other people that are living in this situation. So this book follows her after all that situation is over. She is back safe at home, and the cult leader is going to be on trial for his crimes, because let me tell you, he committed quite a few crimes in that book. Basically, Franz is still in charge of this cult, and as Sophia comes to try to testify against him and try to get this man safe behind bars, this cult is coming after her, and she realizes that she's going to have a harder time than she thought getting away from this situation. So I am definitely excited to read this one. The next book that I'm hoping to get into is one that has been talked about quite a bit here on BookTube and has been out for a while, and that is Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. I have had this book for a while, and I've been wanting to get into it for a while. It is the first in a duology. This one is Six of Crows, and the second one is Crooked Kingdom, and this story follows Kaz, who is basically an outlaw of sorts, and he gets offered a chance to pull off an impossible heist, and he gets thrust together with a bunch of other characters that are going to need to help him. So I've heard really good things about this book. I'm really excited to read it. The synopsis doesn't really give too much information about exactly what happens. I assume that these people trying to work together causes problems, because as it says on the back of the book, there are a bunch of different and unique characters that are going to be trying to accomplish one goal together. So I assume that that causes problems along the way, and this is going to be a pretty interesting read, I think, and I'm really excited to take a dive into it. The next book that I am wanting to read is The Cabin at the End of the World by Paul Tremblay, and I am really excited about this one, especially because this time of year in the summertime we spend a lot of time at our family cabin on the lake. So I love whenever I'm there reading kind of spookier reads, and especially if I can find ones that are like set in the woods or set in the lake, set in a cabin. I absolutely love that because I like to read books kind of about where I am. So, and especially I'm not sure what it is, but I love reading spooky books when I'm at the cabin. I'm not sure why. But it's something that I always try to do every year. I try to pick my spookier reads for when I'm there. And this one I don't think is going to disappoint whatsoever. There's been rave reviews about this book. And this one is about a little girl named Wen, and she goes with her parents to a cabin in the woods for a little vacation. They're trying to unplug, and they're just trying to kind of reconnect as a family. One day she is playing in the front yard of this cabin, and a man approaches her and begins to talk to her, and she starts playing with him, and they're getting along very well. And all of a sudden a bunch of other strangers start approaching, and they're all carrying weapons, and this little girl is 8 years old. She gets really scared, and she tells the man that she's playing with, "I have to go back inside." And the man basically tells her that these people are coming for them and to warn her parents. And basically what he says is that they're going to be breaking into the cabin, and he says, "Your dads aren't going to want to let us in, but they have to. We need your help to save the world." So it kind of comes off to me in the beginning that it's almost like a situation where it's going to be a house invasion, but then at the end, reading that at the end of the synopsis, I'm like, like what is going to happen here in this book? Because it kind of like starts off being one way, and then it seems like it's going to shift into another sort of story. So I think this one's going to be really, really interesting. This one has become a national bestseller, and it is endorsed by Stephen King as well. So should be pretty good. The last book that I'm wanting to read soon is The House by Bentley Little, and once again this kind of goes hand in hand with what I was saying earlier, that I love to read spooky books when up at the cabin, and this one I don't think will disappoint either. So this one basically has five or six people, 5 strangers that all end up coming to this retreat in this house. And the more that they get to know each other, the more that they realize that they all grew up in haunted houses. And what's even more creepy about that is that as they all describe their experiences, they realize that they all grew up in the same haunted house. All of these experiences and all of these homes are eerily identical to each other, but they're from all over the world, of course. So they're trying to figure out what is going on and why they've all been brought together and what is going on, and they have to kind of confront their past. And I'm assuming something is going to happen in this house that they are staying at, because it's called The House, so I'm assuming that maybe it's haunted. I don't know for what reason all these people are going to be brought together, but it's definitely an eerie coincidence, so I'm sure that something spooky is going to be happening in this book. And the last book that I am wanting to read is the start of a new series, and that is The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. And once again, this is another one, just like Six of Crows, that has been talked about so much on BookTube already for so many years, and I know I'm coming late to the game, but I bought this entire series a while ago, and I have never gotten into them. It seems like everybody is writing series nowadays, and it's so hard to find a standalone book. So it's like once you get into one series, you just want to keep reading it over and over again. You want to keep continuing on with the series, and you don't really want to start a whole bunch of new series, so sometimes they can get put on the back burner for me. So this book follows Blue, our protagonist, as she meets supposedly the love of her life, and she has been warned her entire life that she will cause the love of her life to die. Her whole life has not believed in love, and she doesn't think that she's ever going to fall in love until she meets this boy from the Raven Boys and becomes kind of interwebbed in his relationships with his friends. and she realizes that this is probably the boy that the prophecy has been told about. And I'm not too sure if this boy is already dead or not, because it says on the back, it says, there are only 2 reasons a non-seer would see a spirit on St. Mark's Eve. Either you're his true love or you killed him. And she ends up seeing this boy and meeting this boy on this evening. So I'm not sure if that's kind of like a hint to us that he's already dead and she killed him, or if she is his true love, or what's going on with that. But it sounds like there's going to be some spooky elements to this story as well, which of course I am here for because I love anything spooky, and I'm definitely excited to start this. I think there's 4 in the series, so I'm definitely excited to start this one as well. Okay, you guys, so those are the books that I'm hoping to get to soon as I continue on reading and I get my reading habits back on track. Let me know in the comments down below what you're planning to read lately, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!